got some tips for you about after Christmas sourcing, because while we've been having so much fun in November and December doing sourcing for your Amazon FBA business, most of the time we're able to find lots of awesome stuff, send it into Amazon, it sells the next day. What happens after Christmas is sometimes a big shock to people, and it's time to kind of reset your mind a few things. So here are a few tips for after Christmas sourcing. Tip number one is this: it's time to kind of retrain your brain to expect, different type of sales numbers, different types of sourcing numbers, different types of sales rank numbers. You kind of have to start thinking again, what was sourcing for FBA like before September? And you kind of have to retrain your brain for that before September, because once October hits, sales start to increase a little bit. November, it increases a lot. In December, it goes crazy, and it's awesome. But when the week after Christmas hits, it kind of starts to slow down a little bit. But that's okay. Don't think, oh man, my sales have gone down, and I'm doing something wrong. No, it's just that there are less people shopping. But the fact is that there's still people shopping, so you don't want to stop sending in inventory. So that's number two. My number two tip for the week after Christmas: continue to source and send inventory to Amazon FBA. Like I've said before, people have gift cards, they want to spend them on Amazon. People have things that they wanted to get for Christmas but didn't get, so they go to Amazon in order to buy it. So you want to make sure that they buy your stuff. So now's a great time to continue sourcing. And that leads us into tip number three. When sourcing after Christmas, you need to look at camelcamelcamel.com. When you're sourcing for after Christmas, you need to look at Camel. And if you've never looked at camelcamelcamel.com before, it's a website that you can look at on your desktop. You can also look at it on your smartphone. There's not a particular Camel app, but I know apps like Profit Bandit, Inventory Lab, I know ScanPower, they have access to Camel, so you can look at the sales rank data and the pricing data. Because if you go out sourcing this week, you might look at something and find something and be like, oh my gosh, this is a toy, it's ranked 10,000 and it's selling for $70. That's awesome. The only thing is, the only reason it's selling for $70, and honestly, it's not really selling for $70, it's just priced at that. But the reason why it's selling for $70 is because the inventory levels are way down. It's a lot harder to find that item right now, and the prices are higher because it's just harder to find them. But when what you want to do is you want to look at Camel and see how it was before Christmas. See what it was ranked before, the price that it was before Christmas, because as you know, the week before Christmas, the 2 or 3 weeks before Christmas, prices tend to start rising because people wanted to get certain particular items for a gift, and it's just harder to find them. And the people who are priced lower, they've sold out, so it's the people who are priced higher that are getting those sales. But that same velocity might not continue on into January. So when you're outsourcing, it's a good idea just to look, take a few minutes, take a look and see how things were how the sales rank numbers, the sales price numbers, how they acted before Q4 started, and you can get a better idea. I mean, I was in a store the other day, I scanned something and I was like, oh my gosh, this is ranked 30,000 in toys and it's priced at $100. And I found 10 of them on the shelf. But I was like, let me take just a second. So I looked at Camel and realized that it had only gone up to $100 like 2 days before Christmas. Before that, it was selling consistently around $20. And my price to buy it in the store was about $15. So I was like, I need a pass. But if I would have possibly made the assumption, I could have assumed that, oh, this is going to continue to sell at $100. I'm going to buy them all. I would have just been stuck with dead inventory that would not have sold. Maybe one would have sold, who knows? But it's really good to look in the back, in the history. And it goes on to tip number 4 for sourcing after Christmas is that you will see a lot of stores have sales. They're going to be clearancing out their Christmas stuff, clearancing out their toys, clearancing out other gift items, kitchen items, home items. And if you're able to find a whole bunch of those items yourself, it's most likely, especially if it's at a big store, that other people are finding those items too. So when you're outsourcing after Christmas and you buy a bunch of stuff to send to Amazon, number one, get it in as soon as you can, because the faster you get it in, the faster you can get the next sale. But number two, just be aware, you don't want to go too deep on an item because it's possible that the market could be flooded with it soon because of everyone else finding that exact same item when you're sourcing. We had a blog post on this in the past. I believe it's fulltimefba.com/going deep, and it kind of gives you some ideas about what that means. What's too deep when you're outsourcing. And then my last tip for the week after Christmas sourcing is it's probably a good idea to not source at the big popular stores, but to source at some smaller stores, maybe stores that you don't really think of sourcing at very many times. You know, there's like sporting goods stores that sell toys just during November and December because they know people are going to sell, you know, they're going to be able to sell those toys. But after Christmas, they're like, we're a sporting goods store. Why are we selling toys? So let's clearance out all the toys. Most people are looking at Walmart and Target and Kohl's and TJ Maxx and those types of stores, Walgreens looking for their clearance, but that's what everyone else is looking at. But if you want to find some toys that will continue selling and get some good clearance prices, sporting goods stores. I actually stopped, I was visiting family in Houston over the Christmas holiday, and on our way back, we stopped at a gas station, at a truck stop, and they had all of their toys clearanced out. And I was like, oh my gosh, they only sold these certain kind of toys during November and December for the truck drivers who usually go there to buy stuff, you know, for their kids. So a truck driver didn't have to go to Toys R Us or some other store to buy an item for their kid. They had toys at truck stops. And so we stopped at a truck stop. We just actually stopped to get gas and for me to get a cup of coffee. And then I saw a big table full of clearance toys at 50% off. And I started scanning them, and the lady behind the counter was like, actually, they're at 75% off now. So I was getting toys for $1 or $2 at a truck stop. And so just think outside of the box, places that no one else might be sourcing for toys or kitchen items or other types of gift items. Those are some things to think about for after Christmas sourcing. I saw a question earlier. Someone asked about, do the prices and sales rank stabilize or normalize around February? You know, I would think that most of the time by then the numbers have kind of stabilized or normalized for what they're going to be, what the average is throughout the year. But to be honest, you know, sales rank and sales price, they fluctuate high and low all year round. So there's no way to really know and understand and get what's going to be normal. You know, that's why I always try to look at the past, and I try to look at as much data as I can as possible to make my best decision. So I'll be like, okay, Camel shows me that the average price of this item for the past year is $20. Right now it's at $10, but it says the average has been $20. Maybe the market's just saturated and it'll go back up to $20 soon. Or maybe I'm sourcing it and I find an item that's selling for $100, but Camel says, nah, it's regular. The average is like $25 is the average selling price. And so I'm like, okay, that's good to know. So check those things out all the time. My number one all-time favorite tool is Camel. And you can find that at camelcamel.com. So that's all for today. Thank you so much for watching. I appreciate it as always. You know, if you're looking for any of the links that we talked about during this video, you can find those in the description below. And if you like the video, I'd appreciate a thumbs up. And if you have a comment or a question, you can do that below too. I'd always like to hear your thoughts on what we talked about today. And if you want to be sure you don't miss out on any of our upcoming videos, be sure you subscribe to this channel. We have videos uploaded all the time to help you start making more income on Amazon FBA. And if you want to find out more about selling on Amazon FBA and turning part-time hours into a full-time income, go check out our blog, fulltimefba.com. When you subscribe, you'll get a couple of free PDF downloads that will help your business on Amazon become that much easier. And the blog is filled with over 100 blog articles that have tutorials, experiments, walkthroughs, teachings, tutorials, lots of stuff that will help you make more money on Amazon. Anyway, this has been Smotherman. I hope you have a great day. I'll see you soon. Bye.